Paul's got cat problems. I refuse to wait.
It's fine. She refuses to wait too.
Well, I mean, you just described a cat, and
Ridiculous waste of time and fur.
I mean, they're just walking slippers, right? Like, it's got to get that patina before you.
Our previous cats, I always said when they died, I would get them stuffed as like them rolled in a ball, but I would leave their little claws out so I could hang them on the side of the couch when we weren't using them.
It's.
Yep.
Oh, God. Anyway, so the new. If you like the Mail app in Windows 10 and 11, I guess.
Yeah.
Bad news, because that thing's going away, and that actually is bad news for me because I don't like the new one. So.
I'm struck by how much conversation there was around this. I know that you use the Mail app. Like I'm kind of blown away by that, but it just doesn't seem like the type of thing that like technical people would use, you know? People
go on.
do, I guess. No, it's just it's a very simple app. I mean, it's just, and I've read all the comments about that article. There's a lot of outrage there, like crazy outrage. Like, this is the bridge too far. This is why I'm leaving Windows, like that kind of stuff.
Well,
so
that's a little far.
Like, hold on a second. There's also a conversation to be had about the timing, which is weird, and that the support article very, very specifically mentions Windows 11 and never mentions Windows 10. Obviously, in Windows 10, you'll be able to flip the switch and get it. But in Windows 11, it will be the default, and I would imagine going forward to Windows 12, if that happens, it will be the default there as well. But I'm just struck by, like you just said exactly what I've heard a lot, which is like, I hate this new app, and I'm never going to use it. And to me, I look at the new app, and I think, this is a good mail calendar app. Like, I am also not going to use it, but not because I feel it's lacking in any way. I just use the web, you know. But so what's your complaint?
It feels kludgy is the only way I can describe it. My relationship with an email client is very minimalistic. I have an inbox zero type person. So I use no filtering, no rules, nothing.
No folders,
every day, by the end of the day, my inbox is at zero. Like, it's a very transactional thing. I see an email, I respond to it immediately, or it gets burned to hell. And I don't need anything. I just need very simple tooling for it, because at Stardock, at least, anything internal is done on Teams. And very rarely is it done on email, except maybe some legal stuff.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's... And so the new Outlook, you could argue, is a Teams level of complexity.
Yes.
And functionality. And what you're saying, I think, is that in your world, email is now kind of a secondary thing. It's just, One wonders why, I don't know if you can hear the machine right outside my window, but they're mowing the lawn, I guess. One wonders why they don't just add an email component to Teams.
Yeah.
You know, just...
It might become too complex. Right? I don't know. I mean, I guess they can just put it as a little button. It says email, and then it just...
There's a calendar one. Why can't there be an email one?
Well, the calendar one sort of integrates with everything else, because sometimes you can have items on that calendar, but not on the other. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there.
Don't, please.
We're going to start off Monday right and not complain.
Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Yeah, interesting. I had kind of forgotten, you know, like when it came time to work on the Windows 11 book, I do cover mail and calendar app. I cover them like I did in the Windows 10 book. And actually, I think those chapters were the first example of me just saying, I'm not doing this from scratch. Like, I'm just going to take the content from the Windows 10 book, make sure it still works, take new screenshots, and because it's just not worth it, right? My understanding being that at some point these apps are going to go away, you know. And I feel like in that time frame, that little try the new Outlook button kind of popped up or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but I guess I'd kind of forgotten about this, because when I hear the new Outlook, I think, you know, they're replacing Outlook, but actually, this is like the inbox apps. Like, this is like Outlook Express, you know, which frankly might be a better name for this app. I like that I just ran the new Outlook app, and there's a try the new Outlook button in the corner, and it was off, and so I turned it to on, and then it required me to reboot because everything is terrible. I don't know what's happening. Choose an account. No.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm sure I'll complain and get over it, and it'll be fine. Or probably not, actually. I will find a just mail knockoff, because I don't I don't.
A
I
mail
don't know.
knockoff. Wow.
Well, I don't use. So the one thing I have going for me and against me is I don't use Gmail in any capacity. I have an Outlook.com account, and then Stardock is Office 365, and that takes care of my whole life. So I just need to
So you
find
have
something.
two accounts, you would say, and they're both Microsoft accounts or
Yeah.
Microsoft type accounts. And you, in the mail app, you use them in a single view.
No,
You don't have to
separated.
go back and forth. Okay.
I mean, my Outlook.com account is 99.9% garbage.
Yep.
And then the other 0.1% is either hotel reservations, car rentals, or here's your Netflix password, sort of thing.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised by how strongly people felt about this.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's because it feels like they're changing something that's been relatively consistent in Windows since when did
Windows
this
8.
mail app come out? Windows 8?
Windows 8. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
In
I've been
fact,
using the
this
same
was-
mail app since 8, and now they're going to
Chris
change it.
Jones, big guy in the Windows org back in the day, went to Windows Live at the time and was the guy who did all the demos of this when they first did it. And these were examples of apps that were written in JavaScript for Windows 8. This was an example of Microsoft being able to point to something and say, "See, we're doing what we tell you you should do." You know, that Windows 8 style of app disappeared actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume at some point I don't know what they did for Windows 10, but you know, obviously the look changed a little bit, but it's such a non-standard app in every way and in such a lacking app. I'm blown away that people actually like it. It's Mail and Calendar are technically the same app, which is kind of goofy, even though they expose themselves as two separate apps or Windows or whatever. They're the only apps in Windows that let you, well, maybe not the only, but unique among a lot of the inbox apps. They let you set like a background image for some reason that you can never see because you're looking at stuff and it blocks the whole background. Like it's just like it's a weird. They've always been weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand them. Anyway, I would have thought most people who read the site would think like I do on this topic, you know. But no, I found a lot of people are outraged by this. That's amazing to me that there's any.
So there is an app in the Windows Store. I have not used it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I
You've
don't know
just
if it
done
works.
something no one does, by the way, which was try to find an app in the Microsoft Store. But go on.
Pardon the French of the name. It's called Winnow Mail.
Winnow?
It's supposed to be just basically a knockoff of the
really?
mail client, but with Mica.
Ah.
But
okay. How do you spell this?
Here's the biggest
name?
problem. Here's the biggest problem. Massive
Well,
problem for 95% of people listening here. Currently, it does not support Google accounts.
Yep.
But it doesn't impact me. But I don't know if it does Microsoft 365, which I'm guessing it probably doesn't. We'll find out. We'll find out today, actually, probably.
Just pipe pick one of your two accounts, pipe the other email into it, let it spoof that account so you can send mail from it, and just use the one mail,
Yeah, that's one way to do it, too.
the one, what do you call it, like the web app.
Yeah.
Too bad of a Newton mail, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see a next great email app. I think that's kind of come and gone.
Not on Windows, at least. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Because to build a great one, you'd have to charge for it, and nobody's going to pay for an email client.
I know. Right.
I mean, it's just such a low-hanging fruit at this point that...
But if you were to go to Outlook on the web... See, here's my problem with... sorry, I literally was spending time... I was thinking about this over the weekend. Like I said, I was really struck by how people were. To me, the big limitation to this app is that it has this list of apps on the side, and when you click on them, they run the web app in a browser. But I have those apps installed on my computer. Like,
right.
Why isn't this thing smart enough to do that? It should be. And I know web app, blah, blah, blah. Everyone seems outraged by the fact that web apps even exist, but there's no reason a web app couldn't do this. There are web app games that have 10 levels of parallax scrolling and professional graphics that look amazing. Like, you can do amazing things on the web. The Microsoft 365, formerly the Office app, kind of has the same problem. I've had inconsistent results there, actually, but you click on a document or whatever, and instead of opening in the Word that you have installed locally, it installs it in a tab in Word Online, which is not what anyone would want if they have the apps. I don't understand how you ship an app like that. Like that should be the first thing that you fix, like, or, have implemented.
But here we are.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say though was if you were to go to Outlook on the web, say, or Outlook.com, I mean, wouldn't you basically have the same issue with those apps? I mean, they're kind of
I kind of do. And so here's my
busy
problem
in the
with
same
Loops.
way, right? Like
Loop is the similar thing where it's opening web apps. And
yeah.
I got to tell you, like, part of me still really wants to go back to Notion after using Loop for a long time. I mean, long time. I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah. So I go back and forth between Notion and Loop. I use Loop now for specific things. I will say the issue I've had with it, and the reason I've not introduced it to like Windows Weekly, where we do the notes in Notion, is it's just too buggy. I get like error messages almost every single time I open it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weird. Like they usually resolve them. They're fine. There'll be like a red bar. It says something's wrong. Click retry, and you click retry and it's fine. But it happens way too much. And there you go. So if it does the same thing with apps, like to me, Microsoft controls what do you call these things? The protocols, whatever, in Windows. Like this is in Windows, especially, this is an easy problem to fix. These guys have figured out a way to make sure that like Edge loads all the time, even if you've chosen another browser. Surely this is an easy problem to solve. I don't want to look it up because what I'm going to discover is this problem was solved years ago and they could be doing this correctly. I know that's what I'm going to find. Like there's no excuse for this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there you go. They get all these stupid web apps, which is whatever, fine. But if you're using it on the desktop and if it's an installable like you're providing, God damn it. Figure out if I have Word or not, and then use that and not the web app, obviously, right? Well, the good news is we got like 2 years, almost a year and a half. It's crazy how far out this thing is from being the default. So maybe they'll fix it in that amount of time. I don't know. It's certainly been on a slow boil. Speaking of slow boil, this podcast